is an Emmy award-winning broadcaster, author, a chart-topping singer and a regular panellist on ITV talk show Loose Women.
Yes, and the lovely Coleen Nolan is with us for a chat this morning. Good morning to you, Coleen.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, we have to start by sending our commiserations and our love on the loss of your sister Linda, who was such an inspiration to so many over the last couple of years. How are you and how is the family?
We're doing okay. I mean, it's a massive loss. Linda was such a big character in our family. And, you know, she first got cancer 20 years ago. And she was doing so well, you know, even up to the end. And it was just at Christmas, she caught the flu that was going around and that turned into pneumonia. And then with all the treatment she was on, I think she just couldn't do it anymore. And so it kind of went from being, we should have been expecting it for 20 years, but actually when it happened so quick. It was quite shocking. And it's just a massive loss in our family. So, yeah, we're doing okay. You have to, don't you? And she would have, you know, so, yeah.
Because it was that, I think we're looking at you, I'm sure everyone's touched by cancer. You've lost your sister Bernie as well. And Linda had felt like part of our lives because she kept talking about it so much. She was incredible. But then the send-off he had for her, honestly, Coleen, I know I wasn't there, but it felt like I was because you really went all out. It was a huge celebration and a party for her.
Well, the thing with Linda is she was always up for a party. She organised parties for the sake of a party. You know, she loved it. And she actually, months before on social media, saw this pink sparkly coffin and said, if anything happens to me, that's the coffin I want, because she loved bling. And she remembered that. And the funeral directors found it for us and we got her that. And then there were so many people there. And yeah, it was a beautiful, if I can say this about a funeral, it was actually a beautiful day, a beautiful send-off for her. And I felt like we were celebrating her life more than her death, really, the life that she lived. And yeah, it was a great day. And well, it was not a day, but it was a great day, if you know what I mean.
I mean, we spoke about it when the news broke. We spoke about it on this show because we've interviewed you all over the years on the show. But the outpouring from the viewers here in Ireland and even on radio stations, it was amazing how much your family have kept that Irishness and have touched the Irish psyche so much. The outpouring was incredible.
I can't tell you, even to this day, the outpouring of love has been so touching, so emotional, and has literally helped us get out of bed in the mornings. Because, again, you know, I don't know if she realised how much she was loved, but she really was. And I'd like to say a massive thank you, you know, obviously to everyone in Ireland and everyone who messaged, because you might not think it means a lot, but it really, really, really does. And it really helped. And I wish I could answer everybody, but there was thousands. But I just would like people to know we read everything and saw everything. And it brought great comfort to me and my family.
And it's amazing because you know, you've gone through so much and it feels like your family want to keep you teetering on the brink, because then it was your 60th birthday and they did a surprise party on Loose Women and off you were again. I was watching you going, is she all right? You were in floods. It was a fab.
I literally had no idea at all what was going on, not a clue, and cried for the whole hour I was on telly. Look at me, I'm ridiculous. I nearly died of shock. And, you know, my kids there in the front row, I saw them first and then saw the first 2 rows were all my friends. And then my brothers surprised me and my sister. And it just went on all week, this surprise. And I thought, this is meant to be the best day of my life. And I've cried through the whole thing. But it actually was, I have to say. And I've had some big, you know, all my milestone birthdays I've always celebrated. I wasn't going to do this one because of, you know, with Linda, it all felt a bit strange. But it's actually turned out to be my favourite birthday of all time. I've just loved every minute of it. It's amazing.
It was amazing. And to see you there in Loose Women, you're such a part of that show then. And I know you said that, like, the women on Loose Women are nearly your second family.
Oh, they are. They're like my second load of sisters. Oh, the whole crew and everything is. They are. I've been doing it for 24 years. So it is like my second family. And when something sad happens in your life, whether it's sad or happy, actually, they're all there. We're all there for each other. So the outpouring of love from the whole Loose team was in itself incredible. And for them to go to apparently it's been planned since October, all of this, which I didn't know. They did keep me prisoner all morning though in my dress. I thought I'd been fired at one point. I thought, I'm not on the show. But honestly, we are like, whatever the media tries to say, we are actually one big, happy, sometimes dysfunctional family.
And let's talk about that, because Loose Women is so in the zeitgeist. You've been there 24 years. It's been running for 25. You've been stuck with it for thick and thin. It's mentioned in everything. It's mentioned in songs. I think it's in Richard Osmond. Look at you there. It's mentioned in Richard Osmond, in books, in TV shows. Comedians talk about Loose Women. You get royalty. You get Hollywood A-listers. What is it about Loose Women that has been, like, I've heard politicians and political commentators saying they don't care about going on Newsnight. Politicians are scared of Loose Women because they're going to come out with anything.
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's because there isn't another show like it, really. There isn't a show that you can have, women especially from so many different backgrounds. We have age ranges from early 20s up to Gloria Hunniford, who's 84. So you get life experience through every era of life. And there isn't many shows where it's constantly for women of age, size, colour. We include everyone in that. And I think that's what's kept it going, actually. Although Loose Men are starting to come in now, which,
We do like the loose men on a Friday.
Plenty loose men about the place.
Loose men.
Plenty.
I mean, when you're saying that, you've been doing that for 24 years. But, you've grown up in this business. Coleen, you started at such a young age, and the Nolans were so massive. I remember all your Top of the Pops when you were on Top of the Pops, and, touring. And I believe, Japan was just so massive for you as a group.
Yeah, Japan was our major place, really. We broke a lot of records there, and when we got to Japan, we had to have the army used to take us around because we'd just get mobbed, and then we'd get back home and everyone would be like, "Oh, they're back."
Another Top of the Pops.
yeah. But Japan was huge. I always go, we're huge in Japan. Yeah, it was a great time.
It's a wonderful thing to be able to say, huge in Japan. Come here, with the Loose Women as well, because, your career has been so multifaceted. Yeah. It feels mad that Loose Women are just starting a podcast now, which is a new thing that Loose Women have started. And what I read from the press release is the things that they can't say on television. What in God's name can't you say on television? Because you say absolutely everything.
Well, the things I could say 24 years ago, I definitely can't say now.
Right.
A lot of things, but times have changed for the better, actually. But we get more time. There's only 2 of us on each podcast. So we get more time to discuss things. I'm finding things out. I did my first one yesterday with Katie Piper, and it was a Q&A thing, actually, from audience viewers' questions. And it was really interesting. We had more time to discuss it. I learned things about Katie yesterday that I didn't know. So we're still finding things out about each other. And it's just not as restricted as the live TV is, daytime TV. So we're really, really, really enjoying it. And it's so far, touch wood, it's getting a really good reaction. And I think it's almost like a behind the scenes of Loose Women. And I think people want to see that.
And you're on this Friday's one, so it's you're as you said, the 2 of you's there. So, you're able to expand the topics more and chat more about stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And because they are pre-recorded, obviously, that if you say something bad, it can be edited. I'm always getting into trouble on Loose Women over the years. Things I've said in a panic because I've got 1 minute to say it and it comes out wrong and then it's all over the papers and you think, no, I didn't mean that. Whereas we've got time to discuss everything in depth and in detail, and we're all really, really enjoying it. And some of the topics, it's not all fun. They've covered everything. They've covered so far divorce and domestic abuse, and they've covered really serious topics. And then me and Katie got the fun listeners' questions.
Which is a lovely thing to be able to do. And as you mentioned there, we know live TV, things that happen that you don't want. But the fact that the press are still so interested in all of your lives on from Loose Women. What do you make of that? Like, you're interesting people as it is, but not a day I can open a paper or a week that one of you isn't in the paper for something. It's mad.
The magazines were on the front covers of, but sometimes, you know, it used to. Sometimes it can be annoying because they try and make a negative thing out of something that isn't negative. So it's like Loose Women at War, or, you know, Colin and Janet had a massive row on telly, and it's like, no, we had a discussion about a topic that we had different opinions on. That's not rallying. So sometimes I feel that it's really weird because sometimes I think the women's magazines try and pull us down a bit, whereas they should be championing the fact that it is women of every age having an opinion, having a say. But now we just laugh at it. I mean, we say things and go, oh, no, that's going to be a front cover of something.
Yeah.
I mean, the line they picked up for my birthday was Coleen Nolan, "This is the worst day of my life." That was the headline from the Loose Women birthday sale. Because I went on and went, it's the worst day of my life because I'm crying all day.
God,
and they picked up on it and I was like, oh, that sounds terrible. It was the best.
Yeah.
Well, Coleen, do you know what? I'm sure so many people are going to be so interested in listening to the Loose Women podcast. And as you said,
come over and be with you live.
well, come over. You're invited anytime onto Ireland AM, Coleen.
Yeah, we sent you an email there. You've gotten about 75 million during our interview that have been coming into your inbox. So one of them is from us to invite you to come in. The Loose Women podcast is available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Thanks so much, Coleen.
Thank you, Coleen.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a nice studio, isn't it?
A lovely little Loose Women studio.